Namaskar. I'm down here 4 days on the coast, and I brought this camera and the poems I wrote in 1973 and 1974, and I was planning to read them to you. I meditated here on the spot last night, and I was thinking that I would set the camera up this morning and read my poems, and my hope was that somehow that these poems would be inspirational and could help with the unity within the Marga, and that was my plan, and I was planning on doing it as the sun rose in the background, but you can see the sun has already come up, and the fact is, while the sun was rising, I was sleeping, and I was having a Baba dream this morning. The first time in a long time I've had a Baba dream, and I think that it's important that I talk to you about it. I'm not going to tell all the details in the dream, but I dreamed that I was in Sweden, and I was at a big retreat there with a couple hundred people, and Baba was going to be there to give darshan at this retreat, and I was sitting with everyone, and Baba came in and sat in the front, and the people there had come up with this idea that everyone hold hands together with Baba, and so everyone held their hands in the whole room, and I held hands with a person here and here, and everyone held hands all the way around up to where Baba was sitting, and the person to the right and the person to the left of Baba, to Baba's right and left hand, and everyone in the room was holding hands with Baba in this big circle. And after darshan, I left the darshan hall for some reason and went out walking, and the darshan hall was on a hill, large hill, and there was a very steep paved road that came down a hill, and there was a road there at the bottom, and I noticed that there were a few acharyas, a few Margis standing down there, and I began walking down the hill towards them, and they broke up and began walking up the hill. They passed me and went back into the darshan hall, and I continued to walk down the hill, and I got down to the hill where they were standing, and I noticed that there was a body partially covered in snow, where you couldn't really tell that it was a person. They were covered in snow, and I brushed the snow back, and it was a Swedish person, and they were still alive. They weren't frozen to death, and I turned the person over, and I laid on their body to try to give them some of my body heat, and I began screaming for someone to come and help. And finally, the Margis heard me screaming, and they came and they helped, and they got this person and brought them indoors and warmed them up, and we saved their life. And